So, what's up? And we are going to learn about DNA. Before we learn about DNA itself, we want to know the characters that are involved in the DNA synthesis, right? And so, using Claude Code, I and Claude have created these characters. I mean, these characters are already present in the body, but I want to have some sort of understanding, a realistic understanding, right? This is the this is how it actually looks like, honestly. Your DNA, this is the DNA. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so this is the DNA itself, this thing, and this is the Y section. So this part is where all the machinery for your synthesis is there, and this is your normal DNA, how your DNA is. And one thing you'll notice is that it is twisting, right? This thing is twisting like that. So it's very important to know that because we will have these things. Okay, let's go to the roster of characters. So we have 13 characters that we are gonna be talking about. Let's introduce you to these characters one by one. The first one is helicase. Now helicase is the hyperactive unzipper. It unzips what exactly? Well, it unzips the DNA itself. You see, it just opened up the DNA. You see, it just did that. Now that's how it does. So helicase actually breaks the AT double bond and GC bonds, and it opens the replication fork, right? Tears down the double helix, opens the replication forks, breaks the hydrogen bonds that hold the two strands of DNA together so the rest of the crew can copy it. Okay, these are the attributes. I don't know if you're interested. In STEM, we can have the enzyme at the replication fork, and the answer will be helicase. So important thing is that it's present at the replication fork. Breaks these bonds, AT, 2 bonds, double bond, GC is the 3 bonds. If we have a defect in helicase, we're gonna have Bloom and Werner syndromes. And I'm not gonna talk about them right now because the video will get very much distracted from the whole introduction of the characters, right? We'll talk about them in next consecutive videos. So chromosomal instability and premature aging if your helicase is cooked, right? So that is important. What else? Weakness. So the weakness of helicase is that race ahead too fast and the DNA supercoils into a tangle in front of it. Now it has to scream for topoisomerase to untangle it, and it says, "Let me open it." Okay, so that is helicase, the first character that is important for your synthesis of DNA. Second is topoisomerase. Now this topoisomerase is the guy that helps helicase. Okay, remember when helicase was shouting, "Oh my god, the DNA is getting tangled." Look at it, what is it doing? It is untangling, opening it up. So topoisomerase, what is it? It cuts, let it rotate, and reseals and relieves. So it cuts down the DNA, then it reseals the DNA so that the DNA is not broken up into little fragments. Okay, so it untangles this supercoiling of DNA. As you know that our DNA is tangled, as you can see, it's rotating, right? But it tangles even more when we are trying to open it up. Okay, so this untangling is done by topoisomerase, the Zen barber. So in the roster we have this. It glides ahead of the helicase, calmly cuts down the strained DNA, let it swivel and release the supercoil. Then it reseals it, right? The stress reliever of the fork, right? And cool thing here is that topoisomerase 1 cuts 1 strand, topoisomerase 2 cuts 2 strands. Prokaryotic cells, right? Pro means old, so these bacteria and these things, they have DNA guidase, right? They have these topoisomerase 2. So they have this, and we can actually block them by giving fluoroquinolones, because these fluoroquinolones blocks DNA guidase, this topoisomerase 2 enzyme. Okay, so that's one thing. Eukaryotic cells, such as us, right, are blocked by irinotecan and topotecan. We can block them and we can block the topoisomerase, and once we block the topoisomerase, we will not have the untangling mechanism, and then we will have a broken DNA, and that's how it works. Okay. Weakness. Those deliberate nicks, means cuts, are exactly where antibiotics and chemo jam the enzyme shut. So cut, relax, and repair. Inspired by Edward Scissorhand. Let's talk about the bodyguards. So these are the bodyguards. So once you open the DNA, once you open these two strands actually want to realign themselves. So this realign, we don't want them to, because we spent so much energy on helicase, Mr. Unzipper, and imagine if the DNA comes back together. It'll be a big headache for the cell. So what's the function of these bodyguards? We call them SSB proteins. Clamp the open strands and block the re-zipping. Okay, so these two strands, they want to come back to each other. So these bodyguards called SSB actually make sure that they don't come back together. These two strands, these are bodyguards, SSB. So what are SSB? Strand stabilizer. Okay, and a loyal squad that coats the freshly separated single strand physically holds them apart and can't zip back together before they are copied, right? High yield thing is helicase opens the strand, SSB holds them down and prevents the re-annealing. This re-zipping is called re-annealing, okay, and protects the single-stranded DNA from being chewed up. Weakness is that they have no flashy power; they're just pure bodyguard. And if we can stop them, the re-annealing will happen, and the DNA will collapse back to each other. The strands will collapse back to each other. The persona is nope. We're gonna hold them to hold the line, and I wrote the prompt that they should be inspired by Minion, a wall of bodyguards. So what? Okay, this. Let me just show you where they are. Wait. So as you can see, wait. So this is the SSB protein. Wait. This thing. This. These things are SSB protein. These are the bodyguards. Okay, super duper loyal, super duper grippy. They just clamp down these strands and make sure that this strand and this strand is not coming back together, because we have a whole crew working on them, right? So here's the concept. In these two strands, we're gonna have one leading strand and one lagging strand. Okay, now you'll be thinking, whoa, how is it possible? How? Well, I will answer you this shortly. I have a great answer for that. But right now, I'm just introducing the characters. So, we're done with the bodyguard. Let's go to the primase. Mr. Primase. Who is Mr. Primase? So, this is Mr. Primase. The name is Bob the Builder. He builds a pocket-sized engineer. He's a very smart engineer. Note that primase is the enzyme, is the guy you need to start the whole thing, okay? So it's a little engineer, nobody starts without him. He lays down a short RNA primer that gives DNA polymerase a free 3-OH base. This is the base to build from, okay? So, initiative, size, speed, ego. Okay, these are just useless things, but high yield thing about them is that primase makes RNA, not DNA, and the classic UCMLE Bay. DNA polymerase cannot start from the scratch. It needs a base to start. It needs a base to start copying and pasting, right? And it needs that free 3-OH from the primer. Now this is the primer. This is the guy who gives us the primer launch pad. We need that. So next character. Let's go to the next character. DNA polymerase 3, the big builder, the perfectionist builder, the big guy, the Iron Man, the Batman, the Master Mason. He actually is the main DNA building machine in the bacteria. Now, if we can stop the DNA polymerase 3, we will have a nice result for antibiotics, right? So it stacks the correct nucleotide, and the way it stacks is from 5 to 3, okay? Always the building happens from 5 to 3 at high speed, right? And refuses to tolerate a single mismatch. That is very important, right? So synthesis DNA from 5 to 3 only, and has 3 to 5 exonuclease proofreading. So just imagine this is the 3 side, this is the 5th side, okay? So this building is happening like that, in this direction, going from here to here. So this is the 3, this is the 5th, right? And the building is happening right way, in this way, from left to right, from 3 to 5th, right? And proofreading happens opposite side, in the reverse side. So from 5th to 3rd, okay? So it proofreads with what? With exonuclease. This enzyme is called exonuclease, and it reads, its proofreading is okay, it's reading blah 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 blah, and it catches a fault. Okay, maybe this one is broken, so it actually goes back and corrects it. You know, it's so intelligent. It's super nice. Stacks the nucleotides fast and backs up to fix any error. That is called proofreading, okay? So weakness is that if it hits a mismatch, it stops cold and backs up, and excise means remove, and fix and continue. DNA must be perfect, inspired by Mr. Iron Man, Mr. Batman, right? So that is DNA polymerase 3, the character polymerase 3. Let's talk about DNA polymerase 1. DNA polymerase 1 is the janitor. He's not the Iron Man, he's the janitor. He cleans, he's the cleaning crew. What is it cleaning? It is cleaning the thing that was put down by Mr. Tiny Architect. That's the primase, okay? So DNA polymerase 1, what is doing? DNA polymerase 1, the side is from 5 to 3, okay? It means it's going backward, okay? Let's talk about DNA polymerase 3 again. Synthesize DNA from 5 to 3. Just know that its synthesis happens from 5 to 3 only, okay? 5 to 3, from higher end to the lower end, okay? Mr. Janitor works also from 5 to 3, okay? From 5 to 3. Also from 5 to 3. That is important. We want to remember that. So now it removes the RNA primer, right, and replaces them with DNA. After polymerase 3 is done, mainly on the lagging strand. So we have one leading strand and lagging strand. We'll come to that concept. So he's a grumpy cleanup crew that follows polymerase 3. So polymerase 3 is the Iron Man, and polymerase 1 is the sidekick of the Mr. Iron Man, right? He can be, I don't know, he can be someone else. Chews out the leftover RNA primers, patches the gap between fresh DNA, and note that it's all done on the lagging strand of it, okay? So these are slow and cranky, but skips it, and the new strand is left full of RNA, okay? If this is inhibited by any sort of enzyme, we're gonna have RNA primase, and the DNA will be a garbage, okay? So who left this garbage here? He's the old janitor, or Walter White, because Walter White was cleaning tires, in one episode. So yeah, let's talk about Okazaki puzzles. These are the puzzle pieces. These are lagging shards, the short lonely DNA pieces made on lagging strand, which cannot be copied in one continuous run, so they are built piece by piece. Let's see what happens. So see, they are getting close together, and then they are stick together. They are basically, they become one later on. But these are little Okazaki strands. These are 4 strands, as you can see, 4, right? And the thing is that these Okazaki fragments, these are actually lagging strands, right? And they are built discontinuously as Okazaki, and they must be stitched together by DNA ligase to become one strand. So if these lagging strands are not stitched by ligase, Mr. Ligase, we're gonna come to it, the gluer, the master gluer, we will not have a complete DNA strand, okay? So that's important. DNA ligase, Mr. Glue. So as you can see, he has this arm. He is gonna stick the Okazaki fragments. What he did, see that? So DNA ligase glues 2 Okazaki fragments, seamless DNA. Everything happens on a lagging strand, not a leading strand. Polymerase 3, polymerase 1 goes on the leading strand. Know that, okay? the cheerful finisher who fires phosphodiesterase bond. These are phosphodiesterase bond. Okay, and the bond between fragments fusing the broken lagging strand into one seamless continuous piece of DNA, right? Okay, forms the phosphodiesterase, literally the glue, joins the Okazaki. No combat ability. Its whole purpose is to bring everyone together. I bring everyone together. Mr. Friendly Glue bottle. Let's go to the next character. The next character is the telomerase. Now this is a wizard, Doctor Strange, or maybe Dumbledore, right? What's the function? Extends the 3' with something called as TTAGG gap. Now what is this TTAGG gap? Now this TTAGG gap repeats to telomerase a reverse transcriptase. It's like a cap that you put on a chromosome, and it protects the chromosome from aging, actually, right? These are like bumpers that you put on a car. When you drive the car itself, these bumpers are gonna get, damaged. So if you don't have a bumper on a car, your car is gonna get damaged, right? Due to aging. But if you have a bumper, your car is gonna be okay, even in a crash, right? So an ancient reverse transcriptase that hunts the chromosome ends, right? And it adds these TTAGG reverse transcriptase so they don't erode away each time the cell divides, right? Cancer upregulates the telomerase. Now imagine you have these huge bumpers and your car is a little car. What's gonna happen? You will never get any damage. You will be practically like a god, right? So cellular immortality is given by Mr. Telomerase, Mr. Wizard, Mr. Immortality Wizard, right? Loss of telomerase can give you fast aging. So loss of telomerase shortening, so hence and aging, right? So I don't know how to pronounce this word, senescence or aging, right? Silence in most normal somatic cells, because we don't want to be immortal, because I don't know why, but that's how it is. It protects the end. Inspired by Dumbledore. So this is Mr. Telomerase. Let's talk about RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2, RNA polymerase 3. In DNA, we had how many? DNA polymerase 3, DNA polymerase 1, and DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 3. What about DNA polymerase 2? Is there? No, there is not. Maybe I didn't add it. Okay, leave it. Let's come back to the RNA polymerase. So in DNA, we have two characters, polymerase 3, the Iron Man, the main guy who builds everything, okay? And in DNA polymerase 1 is the janitor that cleans after where are you? Primase, right? The wooden guy, the wooden primase. So janitor 1, DNA polymerase 1, the janitor works with DNA polymerase 3, right? And DNA polymerase 3 is the main DNA synthesis guy, the Iron Man. And primase is the starting crew. Everything starts with Mr. Primase. So DNA polymerase 1 replaces this RNA primer with the DNA itself, right? So I hope you understand the relationship of these three, right? SSB is the protein, topoisomerase is the barber, right? It uncoils. Don't want these DNA to be coiled. Helicase is the unzipper, right? Ligase is the Okazaki gluer. Okazaki fragments are these little fragments on the lagging strand that cannot be synthesized in a lagging strand because it cannot be done. It's done discontinuously. These little fragments are done like this. Let's go to the RNA polymerase now. So RNA polymerase 1, Mr. Factory Boss. He is actually a factory floor manager, right? Let's see the function. Cranks out rRNA subunit. It's very important. Subunit part. Look at this RNA little subunit parts. Can you see these little subunit parts? Yeah. So industrial manager bottled into nucleolus. That is very important. It is present inside the nucleolus. It's a big size. Actually, I will show you how it looks in the cell. This is Mr. RNA polymerase 1, the big one. Okay. It's so big. And what about these parts? See, I'm gonna show you. This is the Okazaki fragment. Okay, let's go back to the roster. So this is RNA polymerase 1, right? Yeah, so let's get back. So Mr. RNA polymerase 1, this is RNA polymerase. What does it do? Just produce these little what? RNA subunit, and they are present in the nucleolus. That is very important. Output mostly, okay, makes RNA, rRNA, everything except 5S, because 5S is produced by someone else. 5S is produced by RNA polymerase 3. Okay, so works in one place only, that is nucleolus. That's the two function you want to know, you want to remember them, right? So inspired by Mr. Factory Floor Manager, nothing much, no big responsibilities, right? Have a nice life. So this is the polymerase 2. So in DNA we had this DNA polymerase 3. This is the main guy. In RNA we have RNA polymerase 3. So in DNA we had 2, here we have 3. So RNA polymerase 3 is the RNA polymerase 2 is the main guy. In DNA we had 3, okay? So RNA polymerase 2, the king, the most important guy, really important. Why is he so important? Because he emits mRNA, the messenger mRNA. The messenger RNA transcripts from the TATA start. TATA, TATA box. It's a box, right? What is it? How it works? Okay, so it's an arrogant guy, and because everything depends upon him, right? He or she, depending upon, maybe it's a queen, if you're a woman, if you want to imagine that, you can imagine that as well. He transcribes messenger RNA, because now this messenger RNA is the message. It's very important, right? The blueprint for every protein in cell. No mRNA, no life. So he's very important. If you can inhibit Mr. King, if you can stop Mr. King, if you can kill Mr. King, your whole cell is done. Your whole cell is gonna die. How we can do that? We can actually do that with one drop of alpha amanitin. It shuts the king down and no mRNA, and then the cell dies, right? So makes mRNA very important for your life, most important polymerase. It needs TATA box. This TATA box is the seat that it needs to sit on. This TATA box produces this, So we need that TATA box, TATA box. I'm gonna talk about TATA box, lagging strand, leading strand. Right now we're just introducing the characters. And this Mr. King can be inhibited by alpha amanitin, right? And this is actually mushrooms, right? So Mr. King is like, oh, I write the future. Yeah, we know. You can be easily killed by alpha amanitin. Whom you capping? So RNA polymerase 3. He's a little adapter blacksmith. He's a little dwarf, hammers down. Let's see the hammering. Toof, toof. Hammers down tRNA. Okay. So RNA polymerase 3, quite precise craftsman who hammers out 5S RNA and transfer RNA. Remember, polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 1 produces everything except 5S unit. Okay, but Mr. Little Guy, Mr. Dwarf, actually produces tRNA and 5S RNA, right? So tRNA one at a time, inspired by Dwarf Craftsman at the Forge. Okay, so yeah, that's how it works. Cool. Let's talk about the delivery truck, tRNA itself. So RNA polymerase 3 makes the tRNA, this delivery truck. Okay, this blacksmith makes this truck. Okay, tRNA. So tRNA, the reliable courier that reads the mRNA codon with its anticodon. Now it has this machine. Do you see this thing over here? This is the anticodon, and this anticodon is the machine that you need to read into mRNA codon, right? And it's so important because without it, you will not be able to read the mRNA. So the anticodon base pairs with mRNA codon, it reads it. For example, codon, which codon? AUG codon. We use anticodon UAC, we use that, and then we have the delivery of methionine, right? So that's how it works. It carries these amino acids to the ribosome for translation, right? So Mr. tRNA is saying never late. It's produced by RNA polymerase 3. RNA polymerase 2 is the main guy, can be messed up by alpha amanitin. Polymerase 1 is the little guy, produces almost everything, all enzymes except 5S subunit, because 5S subunit is produced by Dwarf, Mr. Dwarf. And then we have telomerase, then we have ligase, the Okazaki lover, then we have Okazaki fragments. These fragments are present in the lagging strands, and we have to glue them with ligase. Ligase uses phosphodiesterase bonds, the glue itself. This is the glue. Then we have the janitor. The janitor cleans after primase because primase puts this 3-OH to starts building upon, and this it's putting this RNA primer. So it replaces the RNA primer, right? So Mr. Polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 1 follows polymerase 3, chews out the RNA primers and patches the gap between with fresh DNA. Okay, so removes the RNA primer from direction of 5 to 3, replaces them with DNA, acts after polymerase 3 mainly on the lagging strand. Okay, so let's go into the cell. Let's see where these things are actually present, right? So the Mr. Iron Man, the DNA polymerase 3 actually is present on the leading strand. This is the leading strand, okay? It leads faster. And this is the lagging strand, okay? It moves a little slower. That's it. And these SSB proteins are actually present on here on the leading and then the lagging so that they don't intercoil again. Okay, so polymerase 1, the janitor, right, it is present on the lagging strand. That is very important to know, right? The gluer, the DNA ligase, is also present here on the lagging strand. These Okazaki fragments are also on the lagging strand, right? These SSB proteins are present on the both strands. Mr. Telomerase, here is the telomerase, the Mr. Telomerase, right? That wait, yeah, okay, yeah. So this enzyme is the topoisomerase. It is the uncoiler. It uncoils. Okay, very important. What else I can say? Who is this guy? Wait, let's see. Oh wow. I hope you can really imagine that. Who is this guy? This guy is the primase. Putting the primer, right? Putting the RNA primer for starting the synthesis, right? So these are all of the characters, okay? This is the factory manager, puts everything but 5S unit, right? What about the blacksmith? The blacksmith is, okay, wait. Yeah. So blacksmith here. Here is the blacksmith, just hammers out the tRNA leftover. R3, polymerase 2 emits mRNA, very important, can be messed up with alpha-amanitin. So these are the main characters you want to know to understand the story of DNA synthesis. So I will continue in the next video how the DNA synthesis itself happens. I have a product, not a product, I have a file for that actually, but this file is actually not completed yet. Wait, yeah, it's not so completed. So have a nice day, and I hope you understand these characters. All streams will be shut down. Are you sure? No, I'm not sure. Stop.